Let's get on with the details now. There's uproar in parts of the country as up to 3.5% fuel price increases take effect at the pumps today, crossing the dreaded 5 cedi price per litre. Shell, Goil and other fuel stations are selling a litre for more than 5 cedis 10 pesos. The bulk oil distribution companies passed on a hike in the cost of fuel to the oil marketing companies, which in turn passed it on to consumers today. Here are some consumers.
I just heard of it this morning, and I'm not comfortable with it. I'm not.
Why are you not comfortable?
We are not aware.
Okay.
It just came all of a sudden.
Okay.
We are not aware, so that's why.
Okay.
Yes.
So it came as a surprise. Okay. Okay. So you're saying that you're not comfortable about it. What do you suggest, or what do you think should have been done?
It has to be regulated properly.
It's quite appalling that in this situation, day in and day out, there's an increment of fuel, which is just affecting the economy. So I think there's something been done about it. But I don't think we are meant to experience such kind of things. It's not in accordance at all, because the expectation we are having for this current government, they're looking at what is at hand. It is just mind blowing, and it's just I don't know. But
so basically, you're unhappy about
it. Yeah.
I heard fuel prices have gone up. I'm surprised. I don't even know what to say or do about it. Drivers are suffering. Things are difficult for us. Government has to do something about this now.
I think this is too much burden on the individuals. Fuel prices are being increased, yet our pays are not being increased, so I think this is too much.
So those are some consumers there expressing concern over the hikes in fuel prices. Well, let's get to Parliament and speak to the minority spokesperson on energy, Alhaji Mutawakilu.
Partially deregulated. And if you look at the trend now, we have a lot of factors that contributes to the petroleum price increase. We have geopolitical factors. We have when the international oil price increase, and some is as a result of inability to manage our local currency vis-a-vis foreign currencies, especially the US dollar, as is one of the basic currency used in the trading of oil. Now, this, over the period, depreciation of our cedi contributes significantly to the fuel price increase. That means the incompetence of a government to ensure that the cedi remains stable or stronger, their inability to do that is being transferred to the ordinary consumer to pay. And that is where we have I have a very big question. That is one part. Now, about 45% of this, our petroleum price builder is made up of taxes. And then we now zero in on some of the taxes. Do we need to have them today? I think that the special petroleum tax, we don't need.
If you look at all those indicators, which one should we take up?
Special petroleum tax must go off. Totally. Why am I saying that it must go off? This was a stopgap measure. You know, we sell crude, and every year in our budget, the government tells us how much we'll sell our crude and the quantity we'll sell. Now, in 2015, the budget indicated that we'll sell our crude at $99 per barrel. In the course of the year, the price dropped to $28 per barrel. So if you want to sell something at 99 and you're actually selling it at 28, you are making losses. Meanwhile, you have tied school buildings, you have tied roads, you have tied health centers. That when you get this money, that is what you do. So you need to be able to fill that loss. And that is what brought in the special petroleum tax. Now, in 2018 budget, the government told us that we are expecting to sell our oil at $57 per barrel, the oil that we produce. Currently, it's about $70 per barrel. Government is therefore making a surplus. Government is not selling at a loss. Government is selling it at a surplus. So that tax to fill in the gap, we don't need it. And therefore, the special petroleum tax becomes irrelevant.
Who doesn't need it? The government of Ghana needs it.
No. You see?
We need the money.
No, but the people. So you don't look at you getting the money. You look at the purpose for which the tax was brought and the impact of the people.
Well, George will tell you, it's used to fund other social intervention programs.
Today,
everybody's enjoying that.
Social intervention vis-a-vis impact on...
Adams Motowakilu there, he speaks on the minority, he's a minority spokesperson on Parliament Energy Committee there, speaking about what government actually should do. We'll be taking you to social media to find out the reactions of people to what's happening at the pumps. Also, we're asking you, what did you expect when government is super competent? Well, that's what some of the people are saying. Let's get on Facebook now, our social media platform. You can join us with your thoughts there as well. Let's know what you think about the recent hikes in the fuel prices. Let's start with Apiakusi, who says, you go see more. You these elected criminals all the times. I don't quite get that. Abugri Idrisu says, for the artifacts, since this, for the facts, since this government came into power, everything is increasing every day, and I don't understand. Look, this government and all its ministers are just doing nothing. It is not fair to be increasing the fuel prices, I guess. Where is Baumia, competence vice president? Where are you when you are telling someone he is incompetent? Kweku de la Amponsa says, where is that? Well, that we won't tolerate insult on this platform. Kofi Sika is asking, where is Baumia? Apiakusi says, another problem to hammer the poor victims of criminal politicians. Large scale of rich mineral resources and high taxes on imported vehicles doesn't show any sign in our communities. Apiakusi again says, if Akufo-Addo fails to put criminal politicians into prisons, then nothing will be prosperous. Now, with such corrupted judicial and Rawlins's cheated constitution, Akufo-Addo is going to build factories for criminal politicians. You're not very happy about that, Mr. Akusi. Let's get on the line now and speak to research analyst at the Institute of Energy Security, Megdad Mohammed, who's been monitoring this space for some time now. Mr. Mohammed, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. What do you think, based on your assessment and based on the facts that you've looked at over the period, lies ahead for this country in this situation?
Can you come again, please? I can hardly hear you.
What for you lies ahead of the country based on what the studies of the trend that you've done so far?
Well, to simplify everything, so far as the cedi continues to suffer in the hands of the trading currency, the crude and oil trading currency, Ghanaians should just expect increments upon increments. And even if the international fuel prices go down and our currency continues to weaken, we will not have the reduction we would expect in the event of a corresponding reduction at the international level, because the trading currency's relationship with our own local currency has been abysmal. So the solution partly lies, or mainly lies in our ability to strengthen our cedi against the movement of the dollar.
Isn't that more like a long-term solution? Because at the moment, if you are a fuel consumer like myself, you're looking at the immediate short-term, interventions that can be.
That is just in reaction to the question you asked about what lies ahead.
Right.
And that is why I mentioned that the role of the trading currency, relationship with our local currency is important. And this is because when you look at the movement of fuel prices, in December 2017, when we were selling fuel at 446 Ghana cedis, the cedi was going for 445. In January, we had a 4.4% increment in fuel prices. It now was selling at 456. the cedi was around 455 to a dollar. You come to February, then you come to May, we were at 465 per liter for fuel. The cedi was going for 467. Even look, just come to the recent increments we had from August going. The cedi was around 475. We were selling fuel at 48 per liter. Last window, we were 494. The cedi was around 495. And now we have 5 cedis per liter, beyond 5 cedis per liter. And the cedi relationship with the dollar is also going that same way. So this is just to give you an extrapolation of how critical the relationship of the cedi and the dollar has to do with fuel.
Okay, we've just been listening to the minority spokesperson on the Energy Committee, Adams Mutuakilu, who's saying that government is overtaxing people, and that's really the bottom, the root actually of this problem. Is this something you tend to agree with?
Well, if you look at the release IES made last week projecting the price increment we anticipated, we mentioned that we have discovered, based on hardcore research, that the price stabilization and recovery levy has proven to be an ineffective price stabilizing mechanism. And there was a need for government to have a relook at the special petroleum tax component. And the reason for the call of the scrapping of the special petroleum tax is grounded in reasonableness and economic rationality. Because we agreed at the time in November 2014 to the 2015 fiscal year, when the SPT was introduced, it was because we had a genuine revenue shortfall that had to be made for. But if you look at the 2018 budget, we made a benchmark crude price of $57, but currently Brent crude is going for around $79, which means that in terms of revenue from our oil field, government is making a windfall and not a shortfall. So in this event where government is making a windfall, it is if government is concerned about the hue and cry of the people, given how important the price of fuel has to do with other economic activities, government should consider removing the special petroleum tax and then making sure that we can buy fuel at around $4.50 per liter going forward.
Well, $4.50 per liter isn't such a distance away from 5 cedis and a few pesos that we're buying now at the moment.
That is one of the measures we kept calling on government to do right from February 2017.
But does that suggest that that's the best we can get under the current circumstances? But does that suggest that that's the best option available to us as Ghanaians? I mean, looking at you said 4 cedi 70, 450?
450.
450, yes.
The,
I mean,
the
it's
special
not
petroleum
so far.
tax is 0.46 in the price build-up. So when you take that 46 pesos from the price build-up, we are going to have a reduction of around 2 to 3 cedis from current gallon price.
But based on what you've seen over the years and over the trend, do you think that this is a move that government at this point, when we know that government actually needs a lot of money, will make or put in any of such interventions?
Well, if government needs a lot of money, government must not treat human beings who are the recipients or victims of high fuel prices like economic variables, because invariably, irrespective of what government might have projected, I have given you instances or hardcore evidence, the budget of the government of Ghana to show that government itself was projecting a revenue benchmark in terms of crude price per barrel at $57.36 per barrel. Currently, we are going for 79. This is just a domestic wisdom mathematics, that if you were projecting $57.36 per barrel as a benchmark price for your revenue, and today you are getting $79, and analysts have projected that by November we are going to hit over $80 per barrel. It means that you are making windfalls even beyond your imagined benchmark revenue projection of around $336 million from crude for a year. That is even excluding of royalties. When you add royalties, the benchmark figure is around over $660 million as government projected. Right. So based on the current prevailing market price, government has no reason to use the revenue as a justification to keep the special petroleum tax in the price build up.
Finally, before I let you go, sir, your institute is also predicting that the worst is yet to happen. What does that mean?
Come again, please.
Your institute is predicting that the worst is yet to happen, and actually you had predicted the hikes we are experiencing at the moment, and now you're predicting that the worst is about to happen. We should certainly take that seriously. But what does it mean?
Well, I don't know where the worst is yet to happen is coming from anyway. All we have done is just to put out the facts. And I think that is an interpretation that maybe some section of the public or perhaps the media might have given the series of projections we have made.
But it basically means that the situation may get worse if we don't do the things that, for example, you're suggesting that you and the minority spokesperson are suggesting that has to be done.
Well, not myself and the minority spokesperson. I think it is simply a coincidence of argument that we happen to agree on this particular removal of the SPT. We have said that when there's a need for us to have a real look at deregulation as we have implemented it. You know, when we set out to implement deregulation, the liberalization of prices to allow the forces of demand to dictate the price of fuel, there was an expectation we had that competition among will help to keep prices at an equilibrium and reasonable.
Yeah.
But there's a need on after July 2015 for us to have a real look at the entire deregulation we have implemented.
Okay.
Deregulation on paper, as we saw it, and deregulation in reality on the ground, as it is being impacted. What can we do better? What have we done wrong? What have we done right? What can we improve upon it going forward? We can't wait for deregulation or the movement of prices at the international market, which we have no influence over, and then the weakness of our currency to push for price density before we sit back and say, no, we must have this discussion when the horses are open.
Okay. Mr. Mcdad, thank you so much for your time. Mohammed Mcdad there, he's with the Institute of Energy Security. They're helping us with some context at the fuel hikes and what ought to be done going forward. So thank you so much for your time this afternoon once again.